Welcome to Fox TV News, where everything is true. Fire leaves Geisel family homeless. A family of 4 in Geisel, St. Catherine, has been left homeless after their house was destroyed by fire early this morning. A man is being sought by the police in connection with the incident. The mother and her 3 children in February received house from charity organization Food for the Poor. The police report that the family was asleep when about 2:30 a.m., fire was seen coming from the board dwelling. The 3 children and their mother managed to escape through a back door. It is reported that prior to the fire, the man had allegedly threatened the woman that he was going to carry out the attack. The occupants lost everything in the blaze. Mom, girlfriend of missing man search for answers. 2 women, already all too familiar with losing the men in their lives, are once again grief-stricken and searching for answers after the disappearance of 25-year-old fisherman and crab vendor Oral Morris. His mother, 50-year-old Gloria Favor Lawrence, buried her son Sean Russell in December 2020. The incident that claimed his life left another of her sons, Rushing Michael, injured. They were attacked by thieves after they and a group of friends traveled to Hanover to buy a bike, she said. Morris was also killed when he ventured out to do business. Favor Lawrence says her son left the home at 7 a.m. on his motorcycle with the intention of selling 4 dozen crabs in his Grangeville community. His girlfriend Shanique Lawrence said they had planned to go together, but he asked her to stay home with their 9-month-old child. This is the 3rd lover she has lost in less than 2 years. I lose 3 baby father. My baby father died last year and 1 missing since year, and this is 1 missing. So that are 3, she said, adding that she has simply had enough of the grief. So too has Favor Lawrence, and she is looking to a higher power for consolation and answers. She wonders if she or her offspring is to be blamed for the tragedies that have wrought their family. If it's something that my children have done wrong, that they have not confessed to you, if it is me, the mother, that have done something wrong, cause this chaos, I'm asking mighty God to have mercy on me and show me that I can confess, she appealed. Meanwhile, Morris' girlfriend is engaged in a game of what if. She wonders if he would still be with them if she had gone with him that day. On July 31st, she was at their home, wondering why he was so late to turn in. When she got a call, she wishes she had not. It was the police asking her to visit the Morgan's Bridge station to identify a motorcycle they retrieved in a neighboring community. A police source told reporters that an extensive 3-day search was done but yielded no success. No signs, no blood stain, no eyewitnesses, said the source. Morris is of dark complexion, medium build, and about 173 centimeters tall. When last seen, he was wearing a blue and white t-shirt, blue short pants, and pink Crocs. Anyone knowing his whereabouts is being asked to contact the Morgan's Bridge Police Station at 876-955-1375, the nearest police station, or 119. His mother, immobilized by lupus, is praying he will return to them. I don't know how me go manage, believe me, but me left everything in a God's hand, because me know say there is going to be an answer, and me nah give up. God Almighty, me nah give up, the distraught woman said as tears ran down her cheeks and she clutched a crutch for support. Search on for Clarendon fishermen lost at sea. A search has been launched for 2 missing fishermen from Portland Cottage in Clarendon. The men, 41-year-old Robert Weird and Lucky Wilson, went to the Pedro Banks on Wednesday to return home on Friday. It's reported that the boat carrying the men discovered mechanical problem at sea, and they have not been seen since. Reporters spoke with Mr. Weird's father, Jonathan Weird, who said he fears for the safety of his son and Mr. Wilson. The Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard has been searching the waters for the missing fishermen. Nita Garvey concerned about the health of residents following a Recovery contamination. Member of Parliament for St. Catherine North Central, Natalie Nita Garvey, has raised health concerns about the frequent contamination of the Recovery and is calling for health practitioners to independently test the water and residents of Kent Village in St. Catherine. Mrs. Garvey says residents have been diagnosed with rare forms of cancer. She believes the space of contamination of the river, which has caused major fish kills over the years, may have contributed to the failing health of some residents. Mob killing in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. There has been another mob killing. The latest incident occurred in Carlet's Road, Spanish Town. The victim is 29-year-old laborer Siobhan Wilson of 89 College Road, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Investigators say about 3:20 p.m. on Sunday, August 7, Mr. Wilson was set upon by an angry mob. He was later stabbed, beaten and chopped to death by citizens. Up to publication time, personnel from the Spanish Town CIB were yet to arrest any suspect in connection with Mr. Wilson's killing. Mr. Wilson's killing is the second such reported mob killing in less than a week. On Thursday, 3 men, residents claim to be motorcycle thieves, were set up on and shot and killed in Negril, Westmoreland. St. Anne's schools facing teacher shortage ahead of new school year. With weeks to go before the new school year starts in September, one St. Anne-based secondary level institution has started recruiting replacement teachers as the education sector braces for another round of teacher migration. Principal of Brownstown High School, Alfred Thomas, said the school administration was already aware of some teachers leaving, so new teachers have already been hired for the job come next month. He pointed out that the situation will likely worsen with the expected influx of sudden resignations almost on the eve of the new school year, as has happened in the past years. Mr. Thomas explained that at that point, finding replacement teachers becomes a challenge. The issue, which is not new, affects most schools island-wide and usually impacts arts and technical subjects. Mr. Thomas said over the years, school administrators have had to get creative in finding solutions to the teacher migration problem. These include sharing a popular subject teacher among multiple schools. Another option is to use persons with experience in the field who are not teachers, following approval by the ministry.
So last year we struggled to get a replacement after advertising 4 different occasions for an industrial technology teacher for building technology. So what we did was that rather than doing industrial techniques, we did home and family. So rather than having 2 industrial techniques teachers, we had 1. And we increased the number of home and family management teachers that we had. So as school leaders, we'll have to be creative. We may have to pull on other persons in the department to absorb those sessions. That's what we're looking at, because the ministry would not want us to have persons who are not qualified to teach them in those areas. In some instances, maybe we have to look there. So it may not be that persons have a diploma or a degree in the area, but they're specialists. So we'll have to look at that too. But then their qualification will have to be passed, will have to be approved by the ministry. But when you have multiple students, especially students, let's say for 4th farmers who would have started the subject, started to do their SBAs in this area, and then they're advancing to grade 11. So you can't switch on those students who would have already started their SBAs and stuff. So you'll have to try and find for those. So it was easier for us to do that for the lower school students that we had last year to do a switch. But for students who are in grade 10 going to grade 11, we can't ask them to choose another option or subject and then have them have 7 months with that subject. So it gets challenging when it is that it's for the upper school students. It's a subject that is done at the upper school, or a teacher that is an upper school teacher. Well, it seems as if we're having more vacancies than the number of persons who are coming out. And then what happens because of certain locales? So, and there are certain courses that only a few colleges do. So let's say the industrial technology, that's only done by MICO, ETDI, and UTEC. And the number of students who are doing those courses aren't a lot, because the industrial technology, when I was at MICO, we had a full complement of students doing electrical, mechanical, and building. Based on my knowledge, they have a cohort for mechanical, and they have few persons doing electrical. So you find out that with only few institutions doing those areas, then, you don't have enough teachers. And then some persons are going into the industry rather than teaching. So the salary is also a factor too, because when you compare to going in the industry rather than getting teacher salaries, persons tend to go there. And especially for industrial technology, they are heavily recruited, especially across the Caribbean.
Meanwhile, principal of Yakasa High School, Raymond Treasure, says his institution has already lost 5 teachers to migration since July, and more resignations are expected. Speaking with reporters, he noted that the migration issue started last year. Mr. Treasure explained that the problem is compounded by a recruitment challenge, which is more acute for certain subjects.
We lost about 5 teachers last year to migration, and we have lost 5 already since July. We have been bracing for more. The challenge we're having is it's one thing for teachers to move on to improve themselves, but then you would have hoped that you'll be able to find a replacement. That is the challenge I think that schools are having, especially for subjects such as visual arts, music, physics, even social studies. We didn't know that we would have been having such a challenge with the humanities type subjects, not to mention the TVET subjects. And when we check out the teachers' colleges, they don't have many students enrolling to pursue studies in those areas. So we are having a crisis. We have been advertising. I know I've been advertising from about June because I expected that we would be having a problem. And up until this point, we have not identified, we weren't able to identify teachers for certain areas. If we don't find teachers for visual arts, for example, because that seems to be the challenge, we don't find teachers for subjects such as mechanical engineering, we don't have a choice. We will have to drop those subjects from the curriculum. Schools may have to collaborate. So for the schools that are in close proximity to each other, we may have to share teachers. COVID would have exposed us to online teaching and learning. So we may have to borrow teachers from other institutions. They could be in their classes at other schools delivering the lessons, and we beam it to our institutions.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification